Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are covering a Silicon Valley betrayal, some botched botox, some bad implants, and bad lip injections. I'm starting with this Tinsley transfer lip. If you've been following my channel for a while, you will see the same prosthetic on I Try lip injections. So I actually bought this second set of lips the same time last year, so it really didn't want to stick to my face. I was using alcohol to blend it out and kind of pull away any excess. The closer you trim to the prosthetic, the better, to not have a bunch of the extra sticky, crazy prosaide transfer all over in areas that you don't need it. So you can see, especially on this edge, I'm just going to use that alcohol to kind of clean it away. You don't want to pull it away on its own because it's super hyper sticky, and I'll take the whole rest of the prosthetic with it. I did have an area on the bottom lip that didn't want to stick, so I used a little bit of prosaide. You can see it in this shot. You wait for that to dry and get clear and then press down. That's the biggest tip with prosaide. After that, I'm going to powder the entire prosthetic so that my lips don't stick together. And I'm moving on using the Kryolan rigid collodion. So this is what I'm gonna use to start scarring my boobs. So what I wanna do is pull the skin as taut as I can, let it dry, and then release. And I can add layers of this to continue to try and deepen that cut. So one thing I want to tell you about rigid collodion as well, don't use it super excessively in the same spot over and over. If you continue to indent your skin in the same spot over and over, you can scar yourself. So what I should have done is, before I applied it, put down the paint like I'm doing on the opposite today, but I did not. So I went ahead and painted after my first layer, and then I'm blending that all out, and if I kind of wrecks it, that's okay, because we're going to continue applying more layers as we go. So we apply and then we wait. If I was smart and not lazy, I'd go downstairs and grab myself a nice little blow dryer and blow dry this to speed it up. But I don't. I sit here and awkwardly rock back and forth instead, because that's really attractive. So I figured out quickly that I could hold my skin with one hand and paint with the other. So using the Skin Illustrator palette, I'm going to start going in and coloring my lips with about the same color as I painted the scarring or wound on my chest. So I'm using a little bit of skin tone and some of the red mixed together and watered down to create this color that makes my skin look very irritated and upset. Make those lips look even puffier. I have never played with my own chest this much in my life, but here we are. Like I said, I'm painting layer after layer on my chest to try and get it to indent just a little bit more. I think in total I put about 4 layers on. I wouldn't honestly do more than maybe 5, because then it's starting to get ridiculous, and if you put too many layers on, the chemical will start to crack. It creates this weird film and it starts to crack, and then it doesn't look good anyway. So be patient with it. It takes time. Painting the insides of my lip, or the inner line of my lip, with a little bit of a darker red, or more prominent red, and less of the skin tone. You can see as I'm applying the paint, I'm actually using my fingertip to kind of tap it out. I found that to be quite useful for this particular look, just to make it a little bit more splotchy. If you're doing it on a client, you can use a sponge. I then went in with a little bit more of a purple hue to grab and make some more bruised looking on the outside. I don't want to go too heavy. I want this to all look fresh because I'm going to be putting scab blood on it. So a little bit of bruising, but nothing that looks like it sat for days or spread very far. She's fresh off that operating table, if you know what I mean. So I'm darkening the very center because that's where I'm going to have my blood or whatever. This is a very inaccurate cut. This is not where they would go in to put in breast implants or reductions. It would be in the side and or underneath, but for the sake of drama, this is where we're putting it. Next, I'm going to do some under eye as well. I'm using that same combination just to make it look irritated. I have not gone in with anything but paint in this area, and I think the paint itself will suffice. Once again, to make it splotchy and kind of blend in with my skin, I'm going to tap it out with my fingertips. That alcohol fume that comes off, that might irritate your eyes a little bit too, so be patient with yourself. Try not to get it too close to your eyes. Work in small steps. Don't overwhelm yourself. On the inner of these half circles, I'm using some more of that purplish color. And once again, using some light tapping motions to kind of blend out in the corners. Even though the cuts are in the wrong spot, this look as a whole I want to be more on the realistic side and less on the high drama end of things. Don't forget to vogue a little, be dramatic, see if it fits your vision. Next, I'm going to contour very heavily into my cheekbones with an Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette. I'm going up into the cheekbones and blending. That is my cat screaming at me because she has jumped up onto my filming station. I just can't ever seem to get audio out for you guys without having a screaming pet in the background. But I guess that's just the way it's gonna be until, I don't know, I'm not a broke artist anymore. I'm doing this shrug your shoulders forward thing that I do to be able to contour into my chest, make the bones pop out. I'm shading underneath and on top, just to make everything look a little bit more Barbie tan and to make everything look slightly emaciated. I don't want to go too incredibly dramatic with this because, again, I'm still working on realism. So just a little bit to match kind of the character. I decided to go in and try to give myself some what would look like badly microbladed brows as well. So I went ahead and kind of used just a brush to push my eyebrows up, and then I'm going in with a small detail brush and using that alcohol palette to kind of paint additional hairs into my eyebrows and make them just extra super dramatic and big. So once I have finally made my brows obnoxious enough, I've decided to sink in my eyes just a little bit more because I feel like they would probably be more bruised or at least a little bit sunken in from my very tiring surgery. I'm actually just using that same color that I used on my cheekbones from the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. And I'm going right into my crease and blending out. I'm keeping it really nice and subtle. I don't want to go over the top with this. Again, today's makeup, we are aiming for more realism, less cartoon, face painted, over the dramatic, etc. etc. Finally, I'm going in with a little bit of scab blood, and I'm actually just using a spatula to lightly dab it in. This one is from Mel Products, and it is dark and it has little chunks in it. When you first put it on, it looks a little bit more like reddish pink, but it dries really nicely into this like nice scabby, nasty looking blood, which I really like. So I'm using just a small line of that by my eyes and then pressing it into the wounds that I made on my chest as well. Here's what the product looks like. Ta-da! Lastly, we're going to do some lashes because what is a beauty queen without her lash extensions? Only I don't have lash extensions on right now, so I'm using just lashes. So sad. Things didn't work out. Oh, gasp. She looks horrible. How did this ever happen? So, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that stupid little bell, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.